Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Home Staging Talk Show Live. I'm Jenny Norris, your host. This show is by the International Association of Home Staging Professionals. If you're watching us live right now and you want to comment, we'd love to hear your comments or your comments. This is streaming to two different pages, and so we can't always see who's actually posting. So if you want to sign your name so we know who is engaging, that would be great. And I'm excited to be with you today. So we've got a great show for you. We're going to talk about marketing messaging for today's market. I have some tips for you on that because I know that some markets, realtors are maybe thinking, why bother staging? Because it sell anyway, which it might, but it could sell for more. So we're going to talk about that. And then we have special guest June Carter joining us today. And June, of course, is our IAHSP business coach, trainer for the ASP accredited staging professional course in staged homes. She runs a business in Florida and just an all-around wonderful person. And she's also one of our featured speakers for our conference coming up in the fall. So as we get started, I always like to give some announcements to get going. So first of all, which one should I show you first? Okay, we'll talk about our conference, right? So we are about 4 months away, which I can't believe, but 4 months. Time is going fast. So family reunion, IHOSP family reunion. So it's for the home staging real estate industry. We're going to be all together in Denver. So it's very exciting. I'm going to ask those of you that are planning on coming, register. Please, or at least send me an email that you plan on registering because we need to know numbers. And that's going to be super important as I continue to work with the hotel and the space and so forth. And I know that some people might still be a little hesitant to travel and so forth. Our state has lifted most restrictions. Of course, if there are any necessary restrictions that need to be in place for the conference and the hotel, of course, we're going to adhere to all of that. We have a large space, so we have to, spread out a little bit. We can do that. So I just want to get everybody together and encourage you to start, living life again back the way it was before all of this happened. And we've certainly learned a lot, to how to adjust and pivot, as Ravi would say. So, but we're eager to get back to what we are familiar with and definitely to be able to see everybody. So get your tickets, register, because prices will be going up soon. And this conference is open to anybody in the industry. So you don't have to be an IHOS member to attend. We welcome everybody to learn, grow, and thrive and reach new heights of success as we soar together in Denver. Seek opportunities and rise. That's the other slogan. So of course it's at the Gaylord Hotel. It's a beautiful hotel located right next to the airport. I talked to a member yesterday, and the hotel does not have a shuttle from the airport to the hotel, but literally you can see the hotel from the airport because it's so massive. And so a cab ride or an Uber would be very minimal to get there. And then the hotel itself is, they have spa there. If you want to come early, you have a spa day. They have restaurants. There is a way to get to a shuttle line that takes you to downtown Denver. So we're planning on maybe having some people do that on Saturday night, those that are interested. It's a great location, beautiful hotel, and we want you with us. So this is the inside of the hotel, big lodge. Feeling is definitely the Gaylord Rockies. They definitely honored our state's theme of being, in the mountains and so forth. And so it's a really beautiful, beautiful spot. Part of that, of course, is our education, which is always critical. So these are our keynote speakers, and we've been sharing about them, and they are impressive. It's an impressive lineup. If you are attending events and so forth, we couldn't, this is just a really excellent lineup. So Chris Widener, somebody of his caliber is usually, and he speaks to tens of thousands of people at a time in an audience. So for him to come to our group, it's really an honor to have him there and coming. So he has written 22 books. He's worked with Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, very well known in the speaking world and motivational speaking world and business world. He is one of the top 50 motivational speakers in the world, rated by some other entity, not us. Okay, so that is an honor that he has been bestowed on him. So, and he's going to be sharing, he's our business keynote speaker, and he's going to be sharing on making impact, having a big impact business and impact in what you do for people and clients, but also impact for your life and thinking about what your impact will be as we move on. So that'll be really, really valuable. Ravi on the right there, Ravi Huthi, happy birthday, Ravi. I believe his birthday was yesterday. And so he is going to be speaking. on pivot and staying relevant versus redundant. And so he has a book he's written, so has Chris. So there'll be book signings, a lot of time to engage with the speakers, which will be really nice. And so we're looking forward to having Ravi with us. If you don't know who he is, he used to be with the band Hanson, who, if you watch The Masked Singer, they were the Russian dolls, the brothers. A little bit of trivia for you. And so Ravi is a musician and reinvented himself and has calls himself a cultural catalyst. And he does some quite amazing things around the world culturally, working with many world leaders. And so, again, it's great to have him joining us live. Then we have at the bottom right, Johnny Fowler. Johnny is a social media guru. He runs a large mortgage company and has done so much business with Facebook, Instagram, and so forth, social media. He has sort of figured out all the tricks and tips and ways to maximize your engagement, minimize your outlay of funds to be able to outsmart things so that we actually are seen and found and are relevant on social media. And so his session is going to be very popular. He said it's a badass. He's a badass marketing guy, which is true. So we're looking forward to having him joining us. And then last but not least, on the left corner, Deshauna Barber. So she was a former Miss USA. She won in 2016. She has an amazing story. She is an Army captain currently and a businesswoman and a survivor. And so she is our inspirational keynote. And Robbie's the mindset keynote, Johnny's the marketing keynote. So we got you 4 keynotes for the price of one. Most conferences, they bring you one special person. We're bringing you 4. Plus, we have other amazing speakers that we are going to be having share during the education sessions. And so, I thought I put them in here. Let me just do this really fast. So we have a really great speaker lineup as well for our main stage speakers and our breakout sessions. So if you've never been to our conference before, we have both. We have the main stage, obviously. So these are the people that will be sharing collectively to the entire audience. And we also have breakout sessions. And the breakout sessions are by level of experience, if you will. So beginner, intermediate, and advanced topics. You'll be able to attend 3 different sessions. All sessions are going to be recorded. So even if you don't get to see one that you really want, it will be recorded and you will be able to watch those later on at your leisure. So you'll have access to all the content. And those of you that are seeing us, I don't have any comments, so hopefully you guys are seeing me. Oh, I see some likes, hopefully. Anyway, so let me hide this. And these are our main stage speakers. So we have Joseph Hecker, who's sharing on leveraging networks. He'll be part of our new designation. Joanne Leonard Weary will also be sharing on marketing, boss marketing. And so she will also be part of the designation. And I will be sharing on a discovery session. DISC is the operative word there. So we'll have some fun, and that will also be part of the marketing session. And then John and Stephen, my husband and my son, who are realtors here, very successful. They'll be on a realtor panel with John Reagan and a 4th person who has to be identified. We're going to do a realtor panel to help educate stagers on what realtors really need from stagers, and also some creative ideas of how you can add value to their process with marketing ideas, which Stephen is really great at. So I'm looking forward to having them share. And then Sandra Ray's down on the bottom right. She'll be sharing on trends. Pegged her again to do that because they did such a great job in 2020, and that's right up her wheelhouse. So we're excited to have her talk about what's coming as far as trends. And then our breakout session speakers are here. June Carter in the top left. Productivity, she's going to talk about productivity and keeping organized. Marianne Cherico is going to be talking about working with realtors. We have Bridget King on the far right. She's talking about 7 niche services, added niche services you can add to your business for added revenue streams, which is so valuable. You need to diversify. Leslie Kramer will be talking about how to plan for eventually selling your business, which will be the reality for all of us one day, hopefully. Karen Mendenhall and Kat Polinos will be doing a joint session on how to fabulously stage occupied properties and how to gain revenue from that, because a lot of stagers sort of stay away from those properties because they can be more complicated because you're dealing with the people living in the house and maybe are relegated to what they have. So they both submitted the same topic, and I love both these ladies, and so that's going to be an awesome session. Teresa Thomas will be talking about going from SOAR, like painful, to SOAR, SOAR, sort of a mindset session, and then Amy Powers will be talking about coming from a place of an attitude of gratitude and understanding yourself and your team and so forth, the dynamics. So we have a couple more spots we're still filling for the breakout session, so stay tuned on those. But I'm really appreciative of the lineup, and I want to say thank you to all of our speakers that we have pegged so far for your willingness to contribute to our event. It's going to be fabulous. I did mention the designation. So why do I keep having the same old logo in here? It doesn't have the word "the" in it. So I don't know how come I keep finding this one. The sales, it says the word "and," sales and marketing specialist. That is our new designation we are issuing at our conference. And again, those of you that have not attended, every year we do a new designation. So we've done luxury home staging, investor home staging. We have done luxury investor. I'm drawing a blank. The cultural diversity expert. And so anyway, this year it is the sales and marketing specialist. So you understand not only how to be great at marketing your business, but how do you take that and extend it out to your clients and help extend the reach of marketing exposure for them, which then adds value to you and your services and locks them in to use you as their preferred staging company. So we're excited for that. And so the sessions that will be tied to this are threaded throughout the conference, and so you need to attend all the sessions in order to achieve designation. All righty, and you're going to have some resources provided to you as well afterwards that will help you with your marketing plan. After our conference, we always do advanced stager training. So I started this, I think this is the third year after conference, live conference. So this is a time for you to get together with other six-figure and above staging business owners in a 2-day workshop setting. And it is an intensive, so it's not like the conference where you people on stage speaking, you're taking notes. It's much more interactive. So if you're at six figures or you're close, register for it because it's so beneficial to be able to hear what your colleagues are doing to solve challenges, run their businesses, streamline things, make things more productive. And we're always learning. There's always challenges that we face. So this is limited space because we can't pack the room too much. It's a different. It's not in a ballroom. It's a smaller room. So we want to make sure that we have time to be able to hear from everybody. So there is limited space available. Don't wait to get your registration on that one. When you get this with the conference registration, it's a bundle, and you'll save $100 off your advanced stager training. Oh, that actually says Jacksonville, Florida. Okay, I see I'm having a day today with my logos. It's actually in Denver. Hope you guys are laughing. It's $4.99. It's in Denver, the 27th and 28th, September 27th and 28th. And I want to let you guys know, it's a sacrifice for me. I love seeing everybody. That's my son's birthday, 27th. And he's not watching right now, but he'll be at the conference. I'll embarrass him by singing happy birthday. We'll all sing happy birthday to him at some point during the conference because I know he'll be there helping. You guys have not met him yet. Only 2 out of 4 kids that you guys have not met because they have not come to our events before. But they will be helping because it's a family affair. Advanced Stager Training. So here it is here. Go to advancedstagertraining.com to register. And again, when you bundle your registration, you'll save $100 off this. It includes meals, lunch, and dinner on the 27th, and then lunch on the 28th, possibly some breakfast things too. So we're going to have fun. And the great thing is that both Chris Widener and Johnny Fowler will be there with us, that's a first. We've never had a keynote speaker stay over and then come and speak specifically to a much smaller intensive group. And so again, it's when you think about who these gentlemen are, all of our keynote speakers are fabulous. For them to take this extra time to be with us is really special. And I don't know that we'll be doing this again. I'm not sure. It depends on who we have in the future. But the fact that these two are willing to stay and speak to you to help you succeed is really, really valuable. So plan on coming to the advanced stager training. Don't wait to register for that because that one always fills up, and then I have to turn people away, and I hate doing that. So make sure to register. Right now, hopefully you guys got the announcements. We put it out all over social media. We emailed it to all of our membership and even people that aren't members. We have a database. Best of Home Staging recognition started. Nominations started yesterday, and they will go through July 17th. So from now to July 17th, you can go to bestofhomestaging.com, and you can nominate yourself. You can nominate a colleague. And so you can self-nominate. That is allowed. And these are the 3 categories. So staging excellence. Who do you know that does excellent staging work? no matter what property price point and so forth, and they deserve to be recognized for that in the industry. How about industry leadership? Who do you know that leads in the industry? They could be an association leader, a chapter leader, a mentor, a coach, an educator, um, any of those people that help guide and give of their time to help other people. That's an industry leader. So who do you know that deserves to be recognized? And then client care excellence. These are the people that have wonderful testimonials. Their clients love them. Who do you know that deserves to be recognized in client care excellence? And so you fill out the form that's online. Again, bestofhomestaging.com. And this is not like you don't get a trophy. You're going to be listed as the best of for 2021 on a list, and it's open worldwide. You don't have to be an IHOSP member to be recognized. We're not limiting it to just IHOSP members nominating people, which other groups do. We're not limiting this. This should be industry wide. If you're going to do an industry wide recognition, let's include everybody. And then the nominees and so forth, you'll be notified that you are nominated, and they'll be notified that you've actually been recognized officially. You'll get a logo that you can put on your website, and then we have a list that we share out with the media and the public, telling people that these are the best of in our industry. And this was in response, by the way, to Best of House, not to Dis House. They're a design site, and so I really felt a few years ago that we needed to have something for the home staging industry. That's why we started this best of. Because you want to be recognized in your industry. You have best of, the top 100 real estate. We didn't have anything just for staging that was industry wide. It wasn't limited by who got nominated. It wasn't a closed nomination. So this is actually open to anybody. So please spread the word and be recognized and recognize your colleagues. It's really nice actually to see all the submissions and the nice things people say about each other. It really, warms the heart to see all the positive comments that come in. So I'm excited to see who is on the list this year. And again, July 17th will be the cutoff for that. Then after that, so people wonder about the other awards. So at our conference, we do give out the awards. We have a fabulous event for that. We're the only group that does this wonderful gala dinner. And this year the theme is Roaring 2021. So break out your flapper gear, your mob outfits, your Great Gatsby outfits, whatever you want to wear. And you don't have to have a costume. You can just put a hat on or as you are. You don't have to have a costume. A lot of us will be dressed up because it's fun. However, it's not mandatory. But the Great Gatsby Gala is going to be Sunday, September 26th. It's going to wrap up our conference. We're going to have a big party. It'll be awards, dinner, dancing, music, fun, and just a real celebration. And I really like to think of our conference as a celebration of our industry because that's what it is. So that goes Sunday evening. And as part of that will be their individual awards that we do recognize, the IHOSP Staging Industry Awards. And this is where people get recognized for best occupied staging, best luxury vacant, best small square footage, etc., rising star. And those nominations and submissions will not begin until July. So you'll look for that. I'll send all that out again, social media, via email, and then you'll be able to submit for those awards. And those are a bit more complicated to submit. More information is needed. If you're going to submit for properties and so forth, you need to show examples of your work. And those are voted on, and then the winners are awarded at the conference, and you get trophies. You get little trophies or plaques or whatever we're going to come up with. So excited for that, and hopefully you are too. All right, so I think that is everything. Well, let me bring June, our special guest, June Carter. He's joining us now.
Ah, hello.
Hello.
Just a little sound
Hi.
check. And I'm going to, I'm so happy to see you, and I can't wait to get that hug. A little apology in advance. I am in the middle of a very big 2 day hands on occupied staging project. So you can see
Cool.
kind of my background. It's not glamorous. I'm a stinky, sweaty mess, but this is what we do, and nobody does it like us. And
Yep.
Jen, who's working with me, Jen, just come stand here and say hi, and how we
Hello.
I has people work together. And I met Jen when she was a student in ASP, so you never know where your training can take you.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah,
thank you for.
and I love that. Yeah, I'm glad you could join us. And it's sort of funny because people will, you've experienced it. Anybody who's been staging, you travel, you tell people what you do. Oh God, staging looks like it's so much fun. And they don't see this part where you're sweating. And I met a realtor for the first time. We were finishing a house yesterday, and it was a very challenging client. I mean, literally was like, CSI on all of our things and didn't like this and wanted us, there's a wrinkle here. I mean, and it's a vacant house. So it's like having to tell them detached from the house, you're selling, it's not about you, it's about the buyer. And so anyway, I had to run interference a few times with this client. And the realtor showed up yesterday. So I didn't look like this. My hair was just like, I didn't even comb it yesterday. I don't even know if I had lipstick on. And I was not expecting to meet him. So, but he got it is not glamorous. It is hard work. We do sweat, we get injured.
Oh
Um,
yeah, we both bled. Both of us bled this trip.
oh no, no, no.
Yep.
So your image kind of keeps going in and out, but your audio is perfect. So tell people for those who don't know you, tell people who you are.
Hi, I am June Carter, and my business is GYST Solutions. That is GYST, Get Your Stuff Together. And I am a board member of IHASP, the Business Coach Board member. I am also an accredited staging professional master, which, if you've ever considered taking that class, don't wait. That was incredible. And I had already been an entrepreneur for many years, and it took me to a whole other place. Um, I am also a trainer for ASP. I teach accredited staging professionals. I am also a certified professional organizer, and I'll spare you how I got to all of these. I am also an actual accredited life coach, an ICF recognized accredited life coach. And I specialize in coaching home stagers. And I have a tremendous amount of fun, and I meet absolutely amazing people. And I submitted this year to speak on increasing productivity because my unique certification as a life coach is I am a certified productivity coach.
That's awesome. Well, and I was like when I was getting ready this morning, I was thinking, coaching, that's such a broad word. And I've talked about this, that there's a lot of people like I was the ASP, home stager coach. I was actually probably one of the first coaches in the industry back in the early 2000s. But what I was doing really wasn't coaching, it was mentoring. So what I would do is I would tell people these are the steps you need to take to get how to market yourself. This is your activity you need to do to generate the business you want. And I did a personality assessment, but that's about as far as I went as far as what they really wanted from their goals for life and their business and how to work this so that it is something that is harmonious with who they are. And yet that is what you do. You really take coaching from I call it like holistic perspective and which is very unique. And I think that there's probably, I don't know if you agree with this or not, but there's people, is there a perception that by asking for help, by getting with a coach, it shows weakness? People feel like I don't want people to know that I have a coach because maybe they feel like they're not successful, they're a failure, and that's why they don't engage when they really need it. There's something holding them back. I think that's one of the perception, maybe. I don't know.
That is certainly part of it. Yet coaching has very much come into its own in the last few years. There was a tremendous boom in coaching this past year when people couldn't travel. It's like, okay, now I'm going to invest in myself. But even more than an embarrassment over asking for coaching is they don't know what to ask for.
Okay, that's
They
better.
just
Yeah.
don't they just don't even know what they're asking for. So 100% of the time, the conversation starts with a business conversation and it morphs into a personal conversation. 100% of the time. A typical, and as a coach, the difference between coaching and mentoring is I don't ever tell anybody what to do, or even for that matter, my opinion, unless it's in a really unique place in the coaching process. It is a guided path to the person's own truth. So when somebody says to me, I know I need a website, I'm like, wait, let's find out about you, who you are, what your business is like, and then we'll know when or if you do need a website. or what other solutions might work for you. We're not cookie cuttering, we're not training. So the question frequently is, I need to market it. All right, so I'm always saying, well, let's identify what your it is. And frequently it will come down to this. I'm giving you a 12-week answer of let's work on your confidence level.
Yeah, I think, and that's so she does group coaching and also individual. And so your sessions there's a new one starting. I just saw the marketing that went out. So when is that starting?
So we do twice a year, we do group sessions, 4 sessions. The last one for the spring of this year is Monday, and it is closing the home stager sale. And these are more discovery sessions, not really like your disc, which I can't wait for. But this is really less of a coaching and more of a here's a formula that can work for you to close sales. Um, we also cover, so we'll start again in the fall, probably soon after our conference. Not so soon that we're all still buzzing from conference. And we start with, so you're certified, now what? And we talk about um, your sales and marketing for success and your we usually do in the fall a planning and goal setting for 2000 for the next year. So those are coming. We also do a pricing message. I find that a lot, no matter how much training we have out there on pricing, there's never enough.
I know people. That's probably one of the biggest things people struggle with. And my my mantra has been the last year: stop giving things away for free. Don't give a free consultation or free, free anything, a free webinar. I even had to correct something that we were sending out that was free. This is included free with your membership. I said, it's not free. It's included and there's value to it. So it's a benefit of membership. It's not free. And so stay away from that word because there's no value in free. And when you talk about pricing, I just was working with the client. I did a proposal for something like a 6,000 square foot house. Yes, furniture, but needed decor. So the proposal came in at like $3,200 because it's a big house. Every area needed something, furniture, added decor. And so he starts trying to work me backwards on price. And I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to lose money in order to help somebody out who's selling a $1.7 million house. And like, you can afford the extra $300 you asked me to hack off my pricing. I had it right down to, how much my team needs to make, how much I pay the movers, and I need to net a profit. And so everybody needs to take a look at those. And I think that for a lot of stagers, um, they're not looking at their overhead. And in the master's course, we do break that down. We'll talk about it at the advanced stager training. You can't just look at, I made $4,000 in a project or 2,000. Oh, that's income. No, you have expenses and you have overhead, and the overhead you have to pay regardless of whether you stage one house or 30 in a month, and you have to cover that or else you're operating at a loss,
So
right?
I say to the people that I coach, we make beautiful spaces, but we're running a business. And it's always a little bit of a surprise for stagers when they realize we're no longer just making it pretty and buying and shopping. So where my interest in productivity was peaked was during a coaching session. And um, the coachee, as we call them, was saying to me, well, we spent 12 hours yesterday staging a house. Okay. So if the house was less than 3,000 square feet, and I'm all right. So tell me your process. Tell me about your 12 hours. Okay, so I did this room and my partner did that room, and then we switched and we tweaked. And then I did this room and my partner did that room, and we switched and we tweaked and we switched and we tweaked. They were redoing each other's work and they spent at least twice as long. And I started to think about how do we as home stagers increase our productivity, because our time is our money.
Absolutely.
And that's where this presentation and this whole topic came from. Plus, I already was a certified productivity coach. And there's some real concrete nuggets we can give to people during the presentation at the conference. And then it's also going to be let's dive into your own experience. What's unique to you that you can find to apply to increasing your productivity and increasing your bottom line?
Yeah, because it's, I mean, 12 hours, you know, there was once there was a video that we used to play in class, and it was a couple stagers staging a little condo, and it was so funny because I started to play it, and I'm very, I talk fast. I want to get in, get out, get on to the next project, and so I'm all about, let's not dilly dally. Let's get in. Let's get what we need done. And so in this video, it was, they did a nice job, but they had a little table they were setting up in the kitchen, and it was a prop table, so they had a square piece of wood and they covered it with fabric and set the table. And then after they did all that, they're like, oh, we don't like that. We should probably do the round one. So they take it all apart and bring the round one in. And I'm just sitting there like, for Pete's sake, that decision should have made before you ever even got in the house. And then it was hanging. The artwork was like, here, hold up the artwork. What do you think? Oh, I like that. Well, why don't you come over? I want to see what it looks like. I'm like, get out the hammer and the nail already. So it's like, you know, your time is money. And by the way, realtor's time is money as well. And so and I can't wait for the productivity session, because it's not only about being productive in your business, but also extending the message that these agents that feel like, oh, either I can stage it myself, we'll just bring our stuff and we don't need a stager, we'll do it ourselves. Well, time is money, and they're taking those hours to stage a property that they're not being paid for, and they could be taking that time and focusing on more clients. And a realtor will always make way more money selling a property than we will ever make staging it. And so being able to get that messaging across to the agents to help them be more productive. In fact, I use that word. We want to help increase your productivity and your profit. And how we do that is we take the burden off of them to handle like what you're doing with the hands-on with the client. You know, 2 days to make it look great. Imagine if the realtor's like, we'll just do it ourselves. 2 days of your time when you could be out making phone calls or spending time with your family, because, time is money and you have to put your priorities in place. So it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful session, I know. And you are the expert on that.
Thank you. And I do enjoy every minute of what I do. And I think you asked during the master's class, what would you do if you were retired? And I said, this.
Yeah.
It's, I have an agent that I work with who early in her career, she laid sod in the backyard of a house to help them sell it. And they ended up disliking it so much they didn't sell it. And we had to talk about it. I said, so how many hours did you spend and how much money did you make? She spent like 8 hours, made $0, and they're completely unproductive on her part. And one of the things we'll talk about in the presentation is if you outsource, make sure you're outsourcing to somebody who charges less than you, and we'll do a financial formula and show how you're now ahead of the game because you saved those time. If you're worth $100 an hour and you outsourced somebody who's $50 an hour, you made $50 for that hour.
Right. And that was a good lesson last year in the advanced teacher training. We talked about, um, if you're feeling overwhelmed with everything that you're doing, if there are people you can pay less, like you're saying, less than your value, hourly value, to do and accomplish those things, that's what you need to be doing. And my response at the beginning was like, well, but by the time I explain what I need, I could have it finished. I could do it myself. And they were like, everybody yelled, no. It was like the whole room was like, no, you have to offload things. Like, you don't have to be the one doing the PowerPoint. You don't have to be the one designing all this stuff. And it's very true. So sometimes we can be our own worst enemy. And that realtor, the reason why, she didn't make anything, she did it for free. There's no value in free. So she gave up her time, but didn't quantify that and probably didn't tie any sort of a responsibility to the seller. And my experience is when sellers, I've had realtors dig in the yards. I've dug in the yard and planted flowers for people. And I thought, I did it one time and I said, what am I doing? This isn't even my house. Why am I digging in this hard clay on a hot day, sweating, and that person's inside drinking a soda? And I said, this is the last time I'm doing that. So there's a point where you have to value yourself, and the sellers have to have some skin in the game, or else it doesn't make any sense. And let's talk about the market today, because I'm hearing from different stagers, different states and so forth. I mean, we're very productive right now. We have a lot of activity, a lot of stagings. I am
They need me
marketing,
to
marketing,
leave
marketing.
this room. This room is
Yes.
being handled
Okay.
as I'm sitting here.
June's
They are
on the
carrying
move.
out massive pieces of furniture, and I'm watching this. I mean, we have it all planned and Jen is in charge, but they need me out of the way for the next space.
No problem. So she's gonna go sit in the bathroom or something.
Yeah.
That's usually what I say to like at the staging projects. I would be like, the one place I'm out of the way, I'm just gonna sit here. So I'm not in anybody's way. Um, People's marketing messages, you have to change your marketing message for today's market because of how crazy it is. There are every state in the country has a lower inventory, and for some it's like 40% lower than last year. Some it's 60% lower than last year. The only two states that are relatively normal were New York, because everybody's leaving, and Hawaii, because nobody could get in. And so those two states have a relatively normal inventory, so the prices may not be, screaming high, but every other state has shortage. And the top
And
the
just
top work
in New
states were
York, that's only true in the five boroughs of New York City. Because if you get out to Long Island or upstate, break down the demographics, it's as bad as any place else. It's only in
it's
the
hot
high
there too.
density. Yeah, it's only in the high density five boroughs. As you can tell from my accent, that was
Yes.
my hometown. Okay.
So the top states that are the worst were Idaho, Arizona, Utah, um, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, and those are the top states that have the most of the shortage. And then like our state, we're about 40%. So, and this was a map that a realtor provided to me. I could actually post it. I could post it on here at some point. I could put that on here, put it on our site. It was very informative. So what that means is realtors have this idea that, well, staging's a waste of money. You don't have to do it because the house is going to sell anyway. So as a stager, what do we say to that to counter that perception? You have to switch your marketing message. So it's not about houses selling faster with staging, because they are going to sell when they are positioned properly and there's a shortage. So then I have to switch to, they'll sell for even more. So a realtor that doesn't take the time and effort to educate their sellers and not even offering that as an option, they have a responsibility, a fiduciary responsibility to net the most in the sale of the property. And so by not even talking about staging and letting the seller make a decision, that's kind of going against their code of ethics. But furthermore, they're leaving money on the table that the seller needs to purchase, because if they're selling in the same state and purchasing and it's a hot market, they're going to need every penny to be able to bridge an appraisal gap. They have to come up with money, or if they're moving to a different state, it's competitive everywhere. So don't leave money on the table. And furthermore, agents are paid on the final commission, so they're leaving money on the table. So you want to switch your messaging up that, yeah, it might sell, but it will sell for more with staging. And we have the data to back that up. So you want to kind of shift that now. So the other point is, um, if staging is a waste of money and anything will sell, then why do I need a realtor? Right? And believe me, the public is thinking that. Why do I need to list with a realtor? Because I could just for sale by owner myself, and somebody will buy it. I'll get it sold, which is probably true. And statistics say that FSBO people, for sell by owners, make probably like 17 to 20% less because they don't know how to position it in the negotiation. However, that is the mindset out there, that why should they pay realtors commission? Maybe they're going to ask you to drop your commission. Why should they be paying this when it's a given that the house is going to sell? So staging adds value to the realtor's process, right? So what would you say
Hmm.
to other, what are some other points you would bring up to stagers who have to change their messaging?
The first point I bring up is to diversify your practice. And I had, we have 17 days and less home inventory in my area, which is nothing. Um, the houses are selling faster than they're listed. And yes, they would sell for more, but at this point, nobody cares. It's just people people are so frantic to buy that they're buying sight unseen. Okay, so how am I as busy as I am? And believe me, I'm having every weekday this week. I have a 7:30 a.m. meeting before I. So I'm doing a tremendous amount of redesign for people who did buy, who are now trying to figure out how to move in with their northern furniture and colors. Um, this is a hands-on staging, which had to be done for a $1 million house that's 6,000 square feet, that's been lived in for 25 years, that had a tremendous amount of things. This had to be done. The house is going to sell, but the work we do as stagers had to be done. it didn't matter what the market, there was some gorgeous piece of something on every windowsill. And the beautiful lady here, who's a little bit older, could not do it herself and didn't have relatives. And the agents need to know us for these kinds of projects. Um, so I'm always saying diversify. Redesign is a very much important part of our business, especially for new homeowners. I'm going to get paid tomorrow afternoon to hang artwork for a lady who just moved into, she could pay me for 3 hours to hang artwork for her. You know, so take that class at our conference, take that presentation on the 7 niche markets. And when one, it's whack-a-mole, when one goes down, another one pops up.
I
We
love
will
that.
always have something new to do in our industry. In my own case, I'm a professional organizer as well, and that business can get very, very busy at times. Just keep yourself fresh, go to all of our conferences, take all of our training, and know what the
Just,
next, I do personal shopping for people. I've had a lady hand me $1,000. She said, I need to do it.
yeah, I mean, and so there's so diversification. So
Okay.
to keep income coming
Paint
in,
consultations. Oh, I'll do paint
yeah,
consultations all day.
paint and color. If those you, that's an excellent market niche because that's not dependent on buying or selling a house. People just get tired of what they have. They want to paint their walls. They want to do a redesign. And believe me, with everybody stuck at home with COVID over this past year, they were all looking at their walls and saying, "I got to do something different. I don't, I'm tired of this staring at that same piece of art or that old couch or whatever." And so they're making changes and even remodeling their properties. Trades are slammed as far as remodeling, updating countertops and so forth. So you have an opportunity to continue to gain income as a stager. Don't stay in one lane. We talk about having minimum of 3 niche services that you can offer. And then your marketing messaging, if your base of business that you had in the past is not providing the volume of business that you need, and believe me, there's still a lot of houses being bought and sold, then you need to, I always say, cast your net bigger, market yourself to other companies. And then what is it that you can offer as a staging business that's different than somebody else? So one of the things that one of the differentiating factors is availability and responsiveness. So I'm not a person that's going to tell you we're booked out 3 weeks. I have things on the calendar 3 weeks from now, but if somebody were to call me today and say, can you stage Friday? I would say, yes, we could pull that off. And so that's something that differentiates me from another company who may not be able to facilitate that. I don't like saying no. Last week practically killed us, and so am kind of looking at the market and saying people better. Oh my God, it was just a lot to take on, and logistics. I'll tell you, with your business, that can be um, you know, kiss of death or your saving grace is the logistics and the finding the right people for the places. And for me right now, it's the moving side. I've got one guy that he's moving to Oklahoma, sadly, and he's wonderful. And just finding people that will show up and be reliable and have a car and are good workers for the moving side. Because I can lift the furniture. Stuff's not that heavy, but I don't want to break my back. I've done all that.
Don't.
So being able to get your reliable team in place, so that allows us to do what we do because we have our own truck, we have our own team. So those are stagers that are renting that stuff third party. Maybe you're working with a moving company or a rental company and you're relegated to their schedule. You may have to get out of the box and kind of think about, like, okay, what if I were to rent my own truck and get some movers and then be able to pick up items and then get the things in sooner than this company's telling me that they're available? Is that an option? So you have to kind of take a look at what other options are out there and what is your differentiating factor. And um, companies are looking for stagers. Now, there is one
My
big real estate
movers are
company.
here. My movers are here right now. And Jen is managing this part of the project right now.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do it the labor side. I always say we could stage until we're 80 if we wanted to, because it's all about the vision and execution, that being the director. But I certainly don't want to be lifting couches at 80 years old, right? So that's why the labor is so important in finding people who are reliable. And there's a connection, obviously, between how much you pay people and the quality of the mover you get. So that becomes important. And um, so figure out what sets you apart from your competition, and also what is the volume of business that you want to be doing. my goal is to be doing something every day, as much as we can. And I'm giving the team like Friday, we have something small and then they'll be off for the weekend. But maybe you don't need to be that productive. I look at my overhead, which drives the need for how many stagings we have to have monthly. And so when I see that there might be a lull, I send out more marketing things, and that always triggers
Mm-hmm.
responses. So you have to have this constant marketing going out. And I think that's probably one of the biggest areas where stagers that don't have the volume of business, that's probably where the disconnect is. And they think I marketed, I have business, so I don't have to market anymore. And that's not true. It has to be simultaneous.
And be thinking that much further down the road.
Right. And so some of these trouble properties, like these larger square, we've been doing a lot of owner occupied and larger homes, some dated interiors. And so we call them mixed media when we're bringing things in. If you're using just what
Mm-hmm.
they have, that's an owner occupied hands on. And so those are challenging properties that aren't just maybe going to fly off the shelf, especially if they're like larger square footage, higher prices. Those are ones that it's not for, like in our market, the properties that are, 300 to 400,000, I mean, 20 offers. I mean, they're just getting snapped up. The ones that are higher price, over $1 million, they're going to take a little bit longer to sell depending on where they're located. So if you're a stager watching this and you're listening, think about maybe you have to go further out from your center, your hub of where your business usually is. Maybe you need to target specific types of properties. Maybe you need to target agents that list those specific types of properties and talk about why what you do will be of value to them and their client to help them get their house sold for the very best price, because sellers don't want to leave any money on the table. And the way the market is right now, they're expecting that their properties will sell for more. That's what they expect, and they're going to get into a bidding war. And so agents have this pressure on them then to price it where they believe it's going to sell, but also hopefully, get more for the seller. So it's an art and a science and how they do all of that. So staging will help facilitate that. And listen, moving is overwhelming. Anybody that has done that recently or in the last, how overwhelming it is. And so these sellers are, maybe they're moving out of state, they're overwhelmed. We come in, we take that pressure off of them, we take the pressure off the agent. They're not the ones telling them that sculpture has to go, or, whatever. Your dogs are too hairy, you need to clean. That's our role. And it takes them out of the hot seat. So you have to change your messaging. Realtors need to add value. Otherwise, their listing is going to go to someone else who will do it cheaper than that agent. They'll do it for 1.5% or 1% or a flat rate. Why should a seller hire a traditional full service realtor? Well, because the realtors can add value. They can bring staging to the table. A lot of realtors are paying for the staging. And there's an article, there's a guide, the Real Estate Agent's Guide to the Staging Industry, which is on our site. I recommend that every stager download that and you send it out to your agents, and it goes over our industry, what they can expect, the pricing and so forth. But there's a piece of it, which is the 7 ways they can protect their commission when they are considering covering the staging. And that's very important. So you want to read that and educate yourself so you can educate your realtors. And so they're bringing cleaning services. They might be providing, I just saw an ad for realtor that says we provide handyman services and staging. So they're coming up with different ways to add value to what they do. And believe me, staging is a value added service that a realtor would include as a key listing benefit that makes them get chosen over somebody else. And I am living this right now with my husband and my son, who are slammed. They just put, I think, 5 or 6 houses on the market. They have more coming up. They're working with buyers, and they're competing for these listings. It's not just like, oh, they're the chosen one. They have to compete for them. And I'm telling you, the ace in the hole is the staging. That's one of them, the staging piece, and their professional marketing. So you have to be willing to market yourself differently and teach these agents how to change their messaging. And then you are their stager that helps add value.
Amen.
Amen. Um, and so, and let's talk about so the occupied houses, people, I know some stagers, like if you don't have inventory, you don't have things, you can still be very productive. Consultations are still needed for sure on occupied houses, telling people what they need to do to get ready. And then when
I'm
you're
not
there,
renting anything in this house. I'm not providing anything in this house.
she's using what she has.
Everything. And there's a lot. There
Yeah. So the first step is, you're going and assessing, there obviously probably was an initial appointment where you got
We
to
did
see what the
3
person
different
has.
dining room sets.
Wow. So it's a big place. And so, think about your vision and your talent to be able to use what a homeowner has and be creative. I mean, I'm looking in their storage, I'm looking in their garage. I'm like, what do they have that I might be able to put someplace or use in a different way? That to me is very challenging creatively versus when we do vacants, you're in 100% control of that look. You get to pick the furniture, you set it up. It's more, maybe it can be more physically demanding unless you're doing something like what June is, where you're moving a lot of the things out for the seller, rearranging because they can't physically do it themselves.
This
So
is a
vacants to me are
this is
easier to,
2 people. This project, Jenny, was 2 people, 8 hours each, 16 stager hours, plus
yeah,
a, a team of moving people. Plus, we had the wonderful lady's daughter-in-law helping, and she's hands-on herself. This is good business for us.
yeah.
This is
I mean, so I would put out marketing pieces that talk about you have clients that have too much in their house, they need help getting ready. We specialize in owner occupied home staging. We specialize in luxury staging. We specialize in vacant property. Let's say that phrase. We specialize in. I attach that to everything. I specialize in working with elderly people. I specialize in staging condos. And so pick the things you want to specialize in and use that phrasing and send that out in your messaging. But, to get the business, I know that different markets are impacted differently with the frenetic market. However, houses are still being bought and sold. And I believe that when sellers understand that, yeah, your house is going to get offers, but don't you want the very most out of the sale? And and so there's a certain price point in every market where it's not as easy of a sale. And that's where right now you really want to be hitting and targeting that market. And that's different for every state and city even. So you need to decide, determine what that is for your area and start going after the business where they need you. And because we definitely are still needed. I don't agree with any realtor that says staging is a waste of money. And I'll, counter that till I'm blue in the face because I know that we add value. And I think that's short-sighted thinking on an agent's part. And it really kind of devalues what they do as well. Because if the public thinks all you're doing is putting my house on the MLS and you're throwing a sign in the yard and I'm getting 45 offers, why do I need a realtor? So realtors have to also be thinking about how to add value to their process and communicate that to the seller. And the realtor's job, when the offers come in, then it's the negotiating, and then it's getting through the appraisal and the inspection and making sure that the buyer is actually qualified. There's a lot more that they do. Sellers, the public, they don't really know that unless they've sold a house. The perception the public has right now is, wow, real estate's really easy. It's competitive, but man, they're making a lot of money. And so I expect to see a lot more people possibly enter the market thinking it's easy money, but it's hard work. It's hard work to market yourself, to get the business. And it's the same for staging. Staging is, it's fun, it's creative. We make things look more beautiful, but it's also challenging. You're dealing with people. They have issues in an occupied staging when they're still living there. They might need to be working from home. So there's a lot of compromise that happens in an occupied that doesn't necessarily take place in a vacant. And for those reasons, a lot of stagers don't like working on occupieds. However, there are as many, if not more, occupied houses for sale than there are vacant properties. And so that's a great niche service to really become an expert in. If you're a stager and you're watching this and you're like, well, I have never experienced a hands-on, shadow somebody, find somebody in your market who's willing to let you be labor, the stager, and your experience is your pay as you get started and you're learning and you're watching. That's one of the best ways to learn how to facilitate something, because believe me, June had all of this planned out as far as what was going to happen in each room. And she had it, she has it timed down. She knows it's going to take 16 hours total to get this done. It's not just as open-ended, like, we'll get to the house, we'll just start working. You have to be strategic because your money that you're charging the client is capped. You can't go back to this lady if they take longer, go, oh, you know what, I made a mistake. And, it took us 8 hours longer than I thought. And so you owe me another X amount of dollars. They're going to be like, take a hike, June. That's not how it works.
no, no, not
Yeah.
at all. So I am actually going to go back to
Yes.
this project. You can see I'm a
What
little
kept
bit,
you for?
I'm
Yes.
so happy to be here and I so miss you. And I'm so happy to speak to all of the stagers in our community. And I am staying for the advanced stager training. I wouldn't miss it. And, but I'm going to go back to this project. And the way that I managed this project was with a trained ASP who I knew could step in for me while I took this hour off.
Right, which is good. That's called scaling your business, which we're going to talk about at the advanced stager training. So good. Well, good. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you, June. I'm looking
All
forward to
right.
seeing you. It's 4 months away
Bye.
almost. Bye, everybody. So thank you, June. And go ahead and hide her from here. Let's see. All right. And so that wraps up our show. We're just about at 11:30 my time. And so thank you, everybody who tuned in. Please go register for the conference. I need to know numbers. And you can bring your significant other and have make a fun in Denver if you want to take a few extra days. There are lots of hotels around in Denver. And so you can definitely extend your stay if you want to go downtown. It's fall in Colorado can be the colors hopefully will be alive. It could be 90 degrees or it could be snowing. We just don't know. And so as we get closer, we'll be able to determine all of that. But I really am hoping that a lot of you that are telling me you're coming. I just need you to register. You can do 50% down now to register. And then the Gaylord, we have a block of rooms the month before the conference. That special rate, and I don't have any control over that. That's typical things for hotels. They give us a block of rooms, and then they say the cutoff date is X. I'm going to speak with them and see if I can extend it a little bit, just to work with people, because there was a lot of people the month before our event last time. I think 50% of the people registered the month before, which was stressful for us, thinking like, where are the numbers? But it also made it really hard for them to be able to plan. You want to stay at the headquarter hotel. The reason you want to stay at the headquarter hotel is because there are things that happen after the conference sessions are over. We come sort of like the meetings after the meeting. And so you'll be able to eat with your colleagues, meet people. There's socialization, the social time afterwards is almost as valuable as the education, believe it or not. You'll connect with people who will become your lifeline. And so if you're new and you're like, I don't know if I should go, you want to go. I never have missed a conference. The first one started in 2003. IHOSP has hosted conferences from 2003 to the present. And I went. I couldn't have really afford to go. And I was like, well, should I be there? And I'm so glad that I went, and I've never missed a conference. And a lot of it is because I like connecting with my colleagues around the country, and they are your lifeline because they live, eat, and breathe what you do, versus other people in your life who might care for you. They don't really understand running a staging business and all the nuances and challenges you might face. And so that is very valuable. And you can room share. So if you are coming and you're like, well, I want to have a roomie, we have our website. You can post wants and needs for pairing up with somebody at the hotel to kind of share the costs and so forth. So there's lots of ways to kind of save. DIA, the airport, it's a big major hub in the United States. So I think tickets are relatively inexpensive to get here. Southwest flies here, Frontier flies here. So United, all of the big airlines come right into Denver from every major area just about. So it's a location wise, it's very easy to get to. And so I just want to see everybody. I'm so excited, and we all of our leadership team is really looking forward to having us together live. Our vendor expo, we have some great vendors who are coming on board. They are excited to see you. You'll be able to shop and save during breaks and so forth, and then of course learn a lot that will help you advance your business. And should you decide not to attend, then you have to think, well, how will my business be any different October 1st than it was September 24th? You know what I mean? The week prior, the week after. If you don't change something and you're not learning, you're going to be doing the same things. And so these conferences, they're 100% designed to help our members, our industry members, thrive and grow. And it's a way for us to bring education collaboratively together in a 2-day event that helped you to be able to achieve that for your business. And so you need to invest in yourself as much as you ask your clients to invest in your business. Invest in yourself and your education in your future. So get to Denver, get registered. Again, you can do a 50% down if you're not ready to purchase the whole ticket. And it is open to everybody. And if you do have a spouse, they can come to the dinner, they can come to the keynote sessions. There's a special ticket you can purchase for them. It's not as much as the main ticket. So we've offered a lot of flexible options for you. If you have any special needs as well, please reach out to me. I had a member yesterday reach out, let me know that she needs a little scooter before being able, because it's a big hotel. It's not as big as the Nashville and Gaylord and Nashville, I should say. But it is a large hotel. So if you need something like that, you just have to let me know and I will help make arrangements with the hotel. And we want to make sure to take care of our attendees. So that is it for this week. And we will be back next week with another show. And I have a special guest next week, and I'm going to look them up really fast on my phone for you because I have a lot of our speakers coming on. So in 2 weeks, actually, I have Marianne Cherico. So next week, I don't have any of the speakers speaking, but we will have a show and I'll talk about a fabulous topic. And maybe I'll bring Don Reagan back on. We'll continue our hits and misses of properties and styling and so forth, or maybe we'll pick a different topic. So anyway, I appreciate you all tuning in and joining us. And if you've missed any of our shows in the past, you can go to homestagingtalk.com. They are all listed there. This, I believe, is our 113th episode. They're also listed on our YouTube channel for IAHSP, the International Association YouTube channel. You can find all of our segments there, plus a lot of other videos that are educational. So again, thank you for tuning in. We'll be back next week. Thank you. And Sunny, so, all right, Sunny, yay. How can I know when the webinar happens? So let me know which webinar. I'm not sure which one you're talking about. So let's see, Sunny. I'm going to put my email in here. So you can email me, Sunny. Hey, Jennifer. So if you want to email me what you're asking about, I will let you know where to find the information you are requesting. So that came up as Home Staging Talk, but that's my personal email. And anybody watching, feel free to email me questions there. I'm happy to respond. So thanks, everybody, for tuning in. It's always a pleasure. And I'll be back next week. Bye, everybody.